Hey guys, this is Dark Architect 18 back here with another YouTube video, and today we're doing Minnesota. So before I get into that, I want to just say I do ship reviews, dev strike videos, and much more. So before I start, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you like the content and video, then make sure to hit that notification bell to stay notified of all my videos. And now it's time to get to it. So we're going to break down the commander, the inspirations, the mods that I'm using for the ship, and overall just my biggest stats and the biggest takeaways with the ship, and then we'll break down how I'm playing the ship overall. So it's gonna be a really good game overall. Thought this was really fitting for just the Minnesota and how it plays, so thought might as well just put it up and go from there. So let's go from there. So commander, we have Azerlane, Colorado, with inspirations of Angelo, Iachino, and Azerlane, Scharnhorst. So we're doing a reload, accuracy, dispersion build, and also more reload as with the skills that I'm going to be mentioning next for the game. But for the skills, we got Flammable Cannoneer on Azerlane, Colorado, Crisscross, Marksmanship, Courageous Shells, and Will to Rebuild. And also the really nice thing about Courageous Shells is that it allows you to decrease your reload after your first shot of battle, and every sequential shot of your shells from your main guns allows you to do a quicker reload, which is very nice. So I think on my build it's minus 17% after the first salvo of shells, so it's gonna definitely be nice going forward after all of that. So I think my reload right now is like 34 seconds, 33 seconds. So I mean, knock off. Let's just round that up to like 20%. So just for the sake of just doing quick math. So that's like almost 7 seconds off. So well, it'd be like 6.8, but 7 seconds. So 27-second reload instead of 34 or 26 second. I mean, that's more on par with a decent battleship reload at any of the tiers, whether that's, you know, all the way from 3 all the way up to legendary. Obviously, if you're sitting in between a reload of, I would say, 20 to 27, you're in a pretty good range. You're definitely above average, but if you're below 20 in terms of your reload, then you are definitely above average. So you're running like a brawler build, or you're running something really specific to make it that low, with maybe a full reload build with like Paulo de Revel or some other commanders. But anyways, some key stats for the Minnesota are: 1, its health. So its health is 76,300 HP. It's got a 40% torpedo damage reduction. You have 4x3 406mm guns. So you have 12 16-inch guns, which is pretty good overall because you have a lot of, you know, firepower overall for AP and HE. So it really adds up and can knock out battleships quite easily. It can really just take out anyone if you know where you're aiming and how you're going to go about doing that. Speed wise, you're not super fast, but I always like to say to people is that like, you know, it doesn't have to be super fast to make it what it is or make it effective. You just got to learn how to adapt to different kinds of challenges and kind of adapt from there and just make it better. And you'll see with this shot how this one lands. This was like perfect, absolutely perfect. Dev strike, full health on a Pobeda. Absolutely awesome. Didn't expect that at all. So but it, you know, the line of this ship for the US is, I mean, gets a lot of hate because of its speed, and that it's just so slow and its rudder is so slow. But I don't let that bother me. So I take that as more of a ability to challenge myself, and that allows me to really change my play style and make me a better player, and that makes me more well-rounded as a player overall than compared to just doing one type of play style and then refusing to not change my ways for that. And I'm not blaming people for sticking to one play style. I'm just mentioning that you're going to learn more if you open your mind to that and allow that play style to kind of build you to be a better player. Then you're going to be like, well, if I can play Minnesota, then I can play Iowa. I can play, any of these other tier 7, tier 8 legendary battleships, regardless of their speed. I mean, speed isn't super important in a battleship, unless you're in like a German one or a French battleship. So I would say more French battleships, Italian or German more so than anything. I would say the latter, like the American, the British, and Russian battleships and Japanese battleships are much, much slower overall, typically, than the ones I mentioned previously. So with our rudder, we're sitting at a 14.2 second rudder overall, so that's a pretty decent rudder. I think for this ship, it is a 20 or 21 second base rudder shift time, so that's really, really not good overall. So I always try to increase the rudder, but I always kind of try to look at, when I'm picking my modifications out, I always like to look at what do I really need the most, and what is this ship failing to do for me, whether it's like overall just the advantage of the ship, like maybe it's just really slow, or maybe it really can't turn, maybe it's slow and it can't turn. Then you got to just pick your best bet with the ship. So like with what I'm running AA guns mod 1, steering gears mod 2, concealment system mod 1, and artillery plotting room mod 2. So I'm enhancing the AA, working on the steering, also working on the concealment to make it a little bit more reasonable. Instead of always being 15 or 14 kilometers or 16 kilometers, it's 13.7. That's a little bit more reasonable. Artillery plotting room, so I'm working on the dispersion and the shell grouping some more. So that's with my commander build and my modifications. So I'm really stacking my skills to make it work, to get the best results out of it. Also, with this ship, I found it's quite accurate. I definitely think it's more accurate than Kansas at tier 7. I would also say that just this line in general is a really good line. It challenges you a lot more than the original Iowa line. So, because I really only feel like the challenge in the Iowa line is Colorado, and once you master the Colorado, you're fine for the Iowa and the Maine. But if you are going down this line, you're thinking, well, what am I really getting into? And you're getting into slower battleships and ones that might not fit your playstyle as much, but I've actually really enjoyed them overall. So Kansas, Minnesota, and then Vermont, obviously, I kind of put Vermont in the same boat, but it isn't. But it just feels very similar to that kind of play style of just being like that, compared to like an Iowa or a Maine or New Jersey or any of those other American battleships. But it's a really fun ship overall, the Minnesota. So it's got pretty decent heals with what I got so far, and I feel that it's really accurate, and it really can pack a punch with the AP a lot. So that's typically what I use on this ship, is AP is like 95 to 98% of the time. The only time I use HE is when I'm going against a more heavily armored target. So like maybe a battleship is bow on and it has more armor in the turrets or the superstructure than when, you know, if I was encountering it from the rear for, you know, maybe has less armor on that ship. So it really just depends. And HE I use also definitely on destroyers, unless it's a heavily armored destroyer like Khabarovsk or Palo or any of those kinds of really heavily armored destroyers that are basically almost a cruiser borderline. I mean, they're not defined as a cruiser, but they're they definitely feel a bit bigger overall, just in terms of size and maneuverability and all that, and capability. So we're almost done with this game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're 2 kills, couple citadels. You got a dev strike, first blood, 139,000 damage. So it's been a really good game. I got some more videos planned today and tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, we end up with 155,000 damage. We have 4 medals. We have a Dreadnought, First Blood, High Caliber, and Devastating Strike. So, and 2,500 XP on the game. So yeah, really good game, and hope you guys appreciate this. And make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell to stay tuned to the next video. This is Dark Architect 18. I'm out. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Peace. Bye.